I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us for this special update with State Senator Ann Ress from District 45. Senator Ress, good morning. How are you today?
I'm just fine. Thank you, Dave. Good morning to you.
We are doing this update in the middle of July, and a lot is happening. The senator is busy, already Zooming a couple times on meetings today. Let's talk a little bit about the second special session. What has happened so far related to COVID that residents in this area should know about?
So we came into session this week and actually took up only one in the Senate. We passed a few non-controversial bills, but the big issue was a discussion of whether to end the governor's emergency powers under Chapter 12. There were lengthy debates in both the House and the Senate. Both bodies had to agree. The Senate, on a fairly partisan vote, voted to end those powers. The House voted to let the governor keep those powers, and so he does keep them currently. We might have to go back into session on August 30, in the middle of August 13th or so, to have the opportunity once again to act on that. There is a court case now challenging his powers. We'll see where that goes. Meanwhile, Representative Dowd, the minority leader in the House, has been working with Governor Walz on a resolution of just what role the legislature should play in the directives and policies coming from or arising from COVID-19. Yeah. They both now are pretty positive that they'll reach some resolution, and I'm hoping that that can happen before this second special session adjourns.
Very good. We wanted to pass along a note that we have talked about throughout our updates is assistance to businesses in the area, and specifically small businesses. Senator Ress, you have some good news for us. Tell us that the process is moving along.
Yes. We passed in the first special session a program of for small businesses, a grant program. There truly are for small businesses. The grants, they're not loans, they're grants, but they're $10,000, and Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development released the numbers today that more than 27,400 businesses had applied from various sectors in our economy, and that those $10,000 grants now are going out under a lottery system, and they got applications from women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, and 70% of all the applications they revealed came from businesses that had 6 or fewer employees. So it really was very, very targeted, and we're hoping that it's going to make a difference. And we'll go from there and see what more we can do.
Very good. Let's talk for a moment about travel, something that, again, people might be hearing some news about. And again, you're hearing news about this. Tell us what people in the area should keep in mind related to travel.
Well, we know that the Canadian government has decided to close its border to Minnesotans. And so those that have cabins or property up in the north and just in the Canadian side of Canada are not allowed to go to that property. And just last week, we learned that because we had a spike in the number of new cases, that New York now no longer allows Minnesotans to travel there unless they unless they quarantine for 14 days after coming to New York. This doesn't apply to people who are in transit, like if you go to the Kennedy Airport and you change planes to go somewhere else. Sure. That part's okay, but not if you expect to come to New York. We're hoping that our program and our directives, policies regarding the number of cases can lead to that restriction being reduced. The governor has said that with regard to masking, he is going to not invoke that, as I understand it, until we get to a number of 5% of cases. And right now, we are not at that number, although we've noticed a number of businesses across the country that many of us go to use.
Right.
Target, Walmart, they're requiring masks of their own. So maybe government doesn't even need to get involved.
Right.
And that particular practice can continue.
Well, another note we want to touch on is schools, and this is something that's going to
Right.
be in everyone's mind coming up in the next few weeks, the next few months, obviously. And you're trying to step ahead of this and get some feedback from residents. Tell us a little bit about the mechanism you used and what you have heard from residents related to the upcoming school year.
Well, this past week, I issued my final for this year capital update that has mostly focused on COVID-19 and then more recently on George Floyd's death. But state law requires us to, in a campaign year, an election year, to stop sending out legislative updates 60 days after the general session. So in my last one, I really wanted to know what constituents and anyone who receives that newsletter thought about what policies Minnesota should adopt, that the governor should adopt, what advice we should give to the governor for the directive that he is going to issue on July 27th. Mm-hmm. And I have been really very, very pleasantly, maybe not surprised, but I just didn't know that I would hear from so many people right. so immediately with ideas, with reactions, parents, teachers, neighbors, employers, and the reactions are all over the board.
Yeah.
Some people say open it up completely. Some people say no, totally distance learning. But what I hear the most is let's keep it flexible. Flexible for school districts, flexible for private schools, for religious schools, where the leadership in those schools know their families the best, and they know their physical facilities the best, what's possible, what's not possible. And I'm hoping that when the directives come, that they will be embraced, but that we can keep safety of the students as number one, and also those that work with them, their teachers and the educational personnel in their schools, and that the governor will take to heart the suggestions that are coming from constituents like mine. And
your request is to keep those coming, and again,
yes,
this broadcast going to much broader than just your district, so you encourage everyone to send to their representatives, correct?
I certainly do. I mean, you can keep on sending your ideas to me at annr@senate.mn. But for those of you that don't live in my Senate district, I encourage you to contact your own in your own legislator, and not to do it with a robot letter or a letter that someone else has written for you, but your own personal opinions. We really value them the most.
Understand that. So again, there you see that email address at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to send in information, again, because that was the last update that those updates will see because of the rules and procedures here. But again, the senator very busy, and we thank you for taking a few minutes today during the special session to give us a little update on COVID-19. Continue the great work, and we look to talk to you again soon, hopefully after everything is done, with another and hopefully final update.
Thank you very much for having me.
Learn more about the connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.